Welcome back, everybody. This is Last Call at McLaren'S, the How I Met Your Mother podcast. I am Josh, here with my fellow mother lover, John. How you doing, man?
Dude, I am doing great today. It has been an amazing day. First day of a 10-day vacation from work. What up?
That's right. I'm going to be traveling down there to see you this weekend, and it is going to be awesome. That's right.
Say it's going to be legend. Wait for it. Awesome.
Awesome.
That's
right. It's going to be legend awesome. Legend awesome. That's definitely what it's going to be. Well, folks, as you can tell, we're here for season 1, episode 19. Mary the Paralegal. I'm a fan of this one, man. I'm a fan.
I mean, this is a great episode. I forgot how great this episode really was.
Yeah. What I find funny about this episode, because, we've been talking about this show for the last, 18 episodes prior to this.
Yeah.
And we've really been diving deep and seeing just how bitchy certain people can get in this show. And, man, does it get pretty full force here. A couple of these characters.
We were talking the last at least 3 episodes. We've talked about the pettiness that Robin can show.
Yeah.
And in this episode, it is like not even like blatant, like, oh my God. It's like literally like, how can I piss Ted off today?
Yeah, it really is.
Mm-hmm.
She goes full force here. And I'm excited to talk about it. I'm really
the big thing I want to ask, okay, like, if people haven't watched this episode, why are you listening? Spoilers ahead. But I got to ask you a question right now, before we even talk about the episode. If you were Robin Scherbatsky and you were going to try to make Ted jealous, why Sandy Rivers?
I think it's because that's what was available to her easily.
I mean, but she's hot as fuck.
I get it.
Like any guy.
Oh, I get it. But he was right there. It was easy. It probably was kind of last minute for her because we saw in the last episode he gave her his number.
That is true.
So I talked about how I was like, oh, that scene doesn't make sense in the context of that episode, but that it would make sense later on, and this is where it makes sense.
Yeah.
She has that. And so she could definitely have gotten somebody else. But I think it was mainly just a out of convenience kind of a thing.
I can see that.
Yeah. So, all right, let's get into this. Episode 19 of season 1, Mary the Paralegal, aired April 24th of 2006, directed by Pamela Fryman, written by Chris Harris. This is actually the 3rd episode for him this season. It's also the last for this season for him. He's here for the whole show. Does a few episodes each season. But this is the last one for this season. He did OK Awesome and Game Night as well. I love Game Night. OK Awesome was just okay.
It was just okay.
But I do quite enjoy Game Night. So, all right, the summary for this episode reads: Robin invites the gang to an awards banquet. Barney offers to hook Ted up with a prostitute. Ted tries to be cool with Robin's date, Sandy Rivers. And Lily deals with the lack of nap time at work.
That is such a horrible C storyline in this episode.
It is. It's really, it's only even there to set up certain little jokes and things that happen throughout the episode.
Yeah.
That's really all it is.
Which one of them I was watching. I started watching, trying to get into some deeper How I Met Your Mother knowledge. I started watching a bunch of like videos on YouTube and stuff of like things you might not have known about How I Met Your Mother, which most of them I knew.
Yeah.
But I did not know that this is the first episode that you really see Sandy Rivers get to interact with the gang. Mm-hmm. I mean, it kind of makes sense when you think about it. But Allison Hannigan and the guy who plays Sandy were already married by this point.
Yeah.
And there's the line when they're at the table where he's like, I don't know if I would know how to, or what does he say?
Oh, when she says that, when she, it's like, what does she say? That she gets cranky.
Yeah.
And he's like, you don't seem like you'd get cranky.
Yeah.
And then she mocks him.
Yeah. And I was like, that's really, I don't think I could see you getting cranky. And she's like, I don't think I could see. And I'm like, it's the married people.
Dude, I thought that was hilarious.
Shit, that makes that scene so much better.
I was reading on the wiki that apparently this is the only episode where they interact with one another.
Shit, I don't think I've ever thought about that.
Yeah, I found that rather fascinating.
Well, it's kind of like Barney and Scooter, though. They don't ever really interact on the show.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Scooter's mentioned a shit ton of times.
Neither do Blauman and Robin, really.
Not until her wedding day.
Yeah, so it's just like they've kind of kept the couples kind of separate on the show.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's just like let them be their own thing and let them kind of bring their own characters into it, which I like. I like that a lot. All right, so we're going to get into this episode, John. Episode starts off 3 months earlier. They're at the bar. Ted is there with everybody other than Robin. And he is just going on about Victoria, how infatuated he is.
Going on and on.
Just talking constantly. You know, she might be the one kind of a thing. Real early, right at the beginning. It's probably like right after the weekend. Remember when they spent that weekend together, like in his room? I feel like it's probably right after that.
Probably. You know? The thing that really makes me laugh out of the whole rant that he's going on about, like, she does this, I do this. And then he's like, her favorite CD out of the Otis Redding box set is disc 3. Guess what my favorite disc is out of the Otis? And, like, he reiterates the name Otis Redding like 3 fucking times.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all you would have had to have done was been like, her favorite CD out of the Otis Redding box set is disc 3. Guess which one my favorite disc is? Disc 3. But instead, he says like Otis Redding like 3 times, and I'm like, dude, it's
overkill, man. Yeah, he's just talking too much. Is really all it is.
Well, and that's the other thing. He's like, oh, I could talk about her for hours, and Lily's like, could?
Yeah, could. Yeah, I thought that was great. Then Robin comes in and tells the gang that she's been nominated for a local area media award. Lama, yeah. Though I feel like it would probably be pronounced llama.
I thought the same thing. I was like, it'd be a llama,
but it would. But that's not as funny as saying lama, because it sounds like lame.
I mean, because media doesn't get abbreviated to me, so it would definitely say llama.
Yeah, llama, absolutely. Llama.
They spit.
Do they make a noise? No, that's Chewbacca. I don't know.
Chewbacca. Punch it, Chewie.
So this banquet that she's inviting them to, it's 3 months away. And as we saw right at the beginning, this is 3 months earlier from the present. Oh, yeah. It's all kind of taking shape here. We're starting to see where this episode is going to kind of focus around. And she wants them all to come.
Yep. And Ted's like, put me down for a +2.
Well, no, put me down for 2. Yeah.
Yeah, put me down for 2.
Put me down for 2, which I think is really funny because Ted has no luck with +1s.
No, he doesn't.
We saw that whole thing with the wedding with him and Robin. That didn't work out. Now that's not working out. He does not have luck with +1s.
Not even a little bit.
He should never put himself down for a +1. Just saying.
I mean, Barney never puts himself down for a +1.
Exactly, and neither should Ted. So then we flash to the present, 3 months later, where we, from where that last scene was at. Ted is hesitant to go to the banquet, obviously, after the events of the last episode and everything. Robin still pissed at Ted for lying to her, even though she was going after him when she still thought he had a girlfriend.
True statement.
I mean, it started, she didn't know, when she was like, come over and make some juice with me, which was really just code for come over and stick your dick in me. That's really all it was. As far as she knew, they were still together.
That's
just
true.
Saying. Like,
no, and you're 100% right. I mean, it's one of those situations where 2 wrongs don't make a right.
Yeah.
But
and I understand her being mad. He did lie to her. He put her in that position. He said they had broken up. So she thought, okay, I can really push and make my move now.
Yeah.
But she was still making moves before that.
The funny thing is like there's a I'll get to it later.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's the scene later on where Ted tries to apologize again, and she's so I'm sorry, it's just supposed to fix it. Yep. And he's like, what do you want me to do? And it's the truth. It's like, you guys already went through this.
She's holding on to it. She's really just holding on to it. I think I think she wants a reason to not be mad at herself for one, kind of being a thorn in that relationship the entire time. You know, she kept on going at Victoria the entire time she was there, and then inviting him over in the first place. I think that deep down she knows that she's also to blame.
Oh yeah, dude, she was a total wedge in that.
But she is completely putting all the blame on Ted, and that's exactly.
Deflecting is a good thing.
It's true. It's true. So at one point, Ted kind of skates around saying what happened. He's talking to the guys about it, and he's like, you know, everything that happened, and then Barney just completely blows up his spot and lays it all out on, everything that went down about how he essentially cheated, whatever. And it got me thinking. I really think, and my thought process grew throughout this episode, that all of this that's going on is part of Barney's like anger at Ted because of what happened with Robin, because Barney has feelings for Robin here. After everything that happened in the battleship, with the battleship incident, I think that Barney has feelings that he's not letting people know about because he's good at hiding stuff.
He is.
And he's taking it out on Ted. That's my personal opinion, and I'll mention it again later on as we see some other stuff go on throughout the episode.
Okay.
So then Ted reveals that it's been 3 weeks since the breakup, and Robin's still pissed at him, even though it's only been one episode for us. It's been 3 weeks for Ted and them.
Yeah.
And it's been, I think it was like I think there was 2 weeks in between the episodes. So they kind of jumped a little bit of time here, which, is what it is. And I think that, everything that they talk about here, Ted's like, he thinks it's going to be, or, how it would be weird to show up to this banquet and everything. But what have they been doing for the last 3 weeks? I know that he's like, she hasn't been returning my calls, but like, has Robin just disappeared? Because if she doesn't want to be around Ted, is she also not hanging out with anybody else? Like, or is Ted not like, what's happening in that situation?
Well, when I was wondering that same thing, because they make that comment, and I thought to myself is one of them not hanging out with the group as much? Because they totally hang out in McLaren's, and that would be awkward. Yeah.
Or is Lily going over to Robin's place to hang out, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because other than that, like, I don't know. It's just 3 whole weeks of this, and they don't actually explain what the dynamic really has been.
Yeah.
Other than what the dynamic between Robin and Ted, we don't know anything about what's going on with everybody else. But
true statement.
Is what it is. So what does Barney suggest in this situation?
Hire a prostitute.
Hire a prostitute. Really, first he says show up with a hot date. Somebody who's hotter with bigger boobs. And then Ted's like, even if I was gonna do that, it's like in 2 hours. He's like, well, get an escort. Hire a prostitute. And I'll be honest, I kind of love that Barney is so like sex work positive in this episode. Even though it's just really kind of Barney and he's just kind of fucking with Ted, he is still like, he's not degrading sex workers, which I thought was cool.
I think people who downgrade sex work are grody people anyway, because sex work is pretty legit.
Yeah, and
a lot of those.
I have no doubt in my mind that Barney has been with a prostitute more than once in my life.
I wouldn't doubt it one bit.
Yeah,
one bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So he appreciates that business.
But he appreciates the art that goes behind it, though, too.
It's true.
Sex work isn't all about prostitution and strippers. There is so many different levels to sex work that, like, it's an art, really.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. 100% agree.
And that's my stance on it. I am 100% a supporter of sex workers.
Yeah,
I will go on fucking record and say that over and over.
Yeah, man, you do what you got to do. If it's something that you enjoy doing, fuck, Don't let anybody else get you down about it. Fuck them.
Fuck them.
And maybe literally fuck them. Hey, that's up to you.
Only if they pay, though.
That's true. Also, during this scene, Barney made the statement that prostitution is the oldest profession.
Yeah.
And then he gives this example of, a Cro-Magnon giving a cave hooker an extra fish.
Yeah.
And Marshall slams him. He's like, then that would mean that a fisherman is the oldest profession. And he does the very first lawyer. However, it got me thinking. A profession is I even looked up the definition just so I made sure I was right here. A profession is something that you do that you get paid for. As a Cro-Magnon person who's fishing, he's not selling that fish. Okay, because that wasn't really a thing. He's fishing for himself, for his family. Fair. You know what I mean? And if he wants to get laid, he's just trading a fish. But that doesn't mean that he is a fisherman. So that's not his profession. So I don't believe that fisherman would be. I think Marshall's wrong here.
I mean, I think you're just really drawing lines in the sand with this one because he is a fisherman.
I don't think Cro-Magnons had professions, technically. You know what I mean?
Didn't.
But if this girl is offering sex for a fish, then she is selling a service.
But what if she didn't charge him, but he gave her a fish anyway?
I mean, I guess it all depends how she went about it. But if the guy is saying, I'll pay you this fish if you have sex with me, that's selling a service. Now, if it was the other way around, if she was like, hey man, I really want that fish, I'll sell you a piece of ass if you give me that fish. Then he's selling fish. Then he has a profession, and it's fisherman.
I wonder if it's a flounder.
And technically, I think he would be a fishmonger at that point. See, I'm getting real technical.
I barely know
her. I'm getting all technical here.
I know you are.
And also, what I find funny, I mean, it's just like a coincidence, obviously. But we get this whole little thing about fish. And then later on, we get the fish story thing.
That's why I started some of Marshall's little fish jokes right there.
Yeah, I think that's great.
You know what else is a funny one?
What's a funny one?
Bass.
Trout. Trout. I love he says it like 2-3 times each time. Trout. Let me say that again.
Oh, Lily,
say it again.
Trout.
Yes.
You suck.
So Barney goes on to try to convince Ted that hiring a prostitute is a good idea. He even cites a statistic saying 1 out of every 8 women is a prostitute. And I was really bummed that he did not say 1 out of 6 because I did the calculation and 1 out of 6 is approximately 17%.
Nice.
And this is I was reading on the wiki. This is the only time his statistics aren't the 83-17.
Well, I mean, it probably would have been harder to have used those numbers for this instance.
Maybe. Well, no, it really wouldn't have. Because if he had said 1 out of 6 women.
Oh, true.
Because you know what I mean? That's all he would have had to have done. True. Later on, there's another statistic that he pulls out that he could have just put 83 in there instead. I just don't think they had that joke yet.
Probably.
You know what I mean? It wasn't a runner yet. I think it happens next season, but it kind of bummed me out because I was like, oh, they could have easily made it that joke if they had known about what they were going to do.
True.
So it bummed me out a little bit. Ted also reveals that he has not had sex in 57 days, which I find interesting. I don't remember how long they said that Victoria was gone for. I think it was like a month.
About a month.
So I guess that would line up fairly close because you got 3. It's been 3 weeks since the breakup, so that's 21 days. A month roughly is 30 days, so it's like 51 days, give or take a week. So yeah, I could see 57 days. So that does suck. That does suck because we know for a fact that they banged like crazy the day before she left.
Like crazy.
They saw the Statue of Liberty and and the Empire State Building.
Did you say Liberty, though?
The Statue of Liberty? Maybe.
I might have. Liberty.
I very well might have
90.
said. You're 83% sure?
I'm 83% sure you said Liberty.
We need to make some last call shirts. It just says Liberty.
Statue of Liberty.
Statue of Liberty. And it's like the Statue of Liberty with like flip-flops on or something. I don't know what it would look like.
Oh.
But, merch coming soon. Maybe. I don't know. So Barney then says that he's got the girl just for him. And it's Mary, this woman who lives in his building. Ted assumes that she's a prostitute right away because that's what they've been talking about. And he declines. Barney gets like fake upset, does the whole good day, and then waits for Ted to talk so he can say, I said good day.
I love how Ted even pointed. He's like, you're just waiting for me to talk. I said good day.
Yeah. Which I love because, like, I think that's originally from Willy Wonka, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But they used it a lot in that 70s show, though.
Yes.
But because that's where I know it more. But I'm pretty sure it's originally from Willy Wonka.
Fair.
Yeah. So
I mean, it might not be originally from there, but it's definitely in there.
I mean, I guess it could have been something earlier.
I mean, theoretically, movies have been around for way longer than, Willy Wonka.
I mean, that's true, but yeah, I guess somebody could have done that. But I think that bit is from Willy Wonka.
Maybe.
Yeah. So if somebody out there, hit us up on Twitter at Last Call HIMYM. Let us know. Is it from Willy Wonka? Is there something before that? We needs to know. I got to know. Anyways, back at the apartment, Robin and Lily are getting ready for the banquet. Lily is exhausted because apparently the school board took away nap time, and she doesn't get to nap because apparently
she doesn't get to nap.
She was also napping during nap time.
I just love how Robin's like, you were napping while the kids were napping? Is that safe?
Yeah.
They're 5. What are they going to do to me?
Yeah, I love it. That's the route that Lily takes. What are they going to do to me? As opposed to, like, what could happen to them.
Right?
So I thought it was pretty damn funny. And somebody who has a 6-year-old, and you have an almost 6-year-old, you have a 5-year-old right now. Did you find that as funny?
Oh,
no?
Absolutely. But I mean, there's also been plenty of times where like Cal's been over and like I'm not feeling good or I've been exhausted from work.
Yeah.
And I know that if I there was one day I laid down to take a nap with him. Apparently he didn't take the nap, but I did, and I woke up when he was just playing toys.
Yeah. My kid's just like that. Faith is just like that. She'll come out here and do whatever she can, take care of herself to an extent.
Yep.
Which is nice. It's nice. I like it. Yeah. So Robin, yes, I like it a lot. Robin reveals that she is bringing a date, and it is a coworker, which is interesting because in the previous episode, she specifically says that she does not date coworkers. So it's interesting.
I mean, she's not dating him though. There's a difference between dating a coworker.
I know,
and
but
having a +1 to a gala of sorts.
Still, it's still she's crossing her own lines just to get at Ted, which I find, she's breaking her own moral code.
Well, you have to give me respect for using the word gala properly.
Hey man, good job.
Thought it was going to go unnoticed.
It was very good. We then cut to Lily and Marshall on the phone, and they're both agreeing that it would be weird, because she tells Robin, it won't be weird, it'll be fine. But then we get that hard cut to them on the phone, and it's like, yeah, this is going to be weird.
It's going to be weird.
It's going to be real, real weird. And spoiler alert, it's weird, guys. It's real weird.
God. Dude, it gets so fucking, tense, you can cut it with a knife.
Oh, yeah. Marshall hangs up, tells Ted about Robin's date. And Ted, he's trying to convince himself so hard that this isn't going to be weird. But then Barney walks in with Mary. And dude, hoo-wee, she is smoking hot, man. I did a little research. Mary is played by Erin Bartlett. She did a lot of bit part movies and single episodes of TV, kind of like what she did here. and she pretty much stopped acting in 2008.
Oh, shit.
So she did one episode of the show Rules of Engagement in 2013, and that's it. After that, yeah. So I guess it just wasn't for her. Like I said, she never really got like that starring role, which is surprising to me because like I thought she was really good. Like she had amazing chemistry with Josh Radnor.
Yeah.
And she's gorgeous. Like you'd think somebody would be like, let's put her in something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It seems like how Hollywood tends to work. So I don't know. It was shocking to see that her IMDb was so kind of limited to what she did. And then it just kind of stops, so long ago. But
that sucks.
Yeah. I found that interesting. So Ted takes Barney kind of off to the side. He's like, what the hell, man? What are you doing? And Barney manages to convince Ted to take Mary to the banquet after revealing, quote unquote, that he spent $500 on this so-called prostitute.
You know what the thing is, though? And because I thought about this at the end of the episode right before we started recording. He never says he spent $500 on her.
That's true. He just says, I'll be out $500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he reveals it later on that he bought the room and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Last minute room in a high price hotel. Wouldn't doubt it that was the $500.
I guarantee you that because hotels can be pricey, and I guarantee you that one night would have cost $500. Yeah. Easy. So that is definitely, I think you're right. I'll be honest, hadn't thought that. So I think you're 100% right. That what he's actually referring to is the room, because we don't know that he got that yet.
And that's it. But you're not supposed to know that yet. So you think he spent the $500 on her?
Yeah.
I was just putting that out there.
Yeah, that was great. That was a great thought, man, because I hadn't thought about that. A little side note, which I thought was cool. During this scene, the camera's like kind of like on Ted's face, and the bar mirrors in the background. And you can see Lily's face there because Lily is at the bar, but we hadn't seen her yet. So like they have the close up on Ted. You see Lily's face in the mirror. The camera cuts to like a farther back shot, and you see Robin and Sandy come in, and Lily, her back is to the camera, and she's at the bar.
No shit.
Yeah,
that's kind of funny.
Yeah, I was like, interesting. That's nice continuity. Because like. She's playing a role here.
Yeah.
That no one gets to see or hear. You know what I mean? Like she's doing her own scene with the bartender, and no one gets to see it, which I think is, it was really cool. It was a nice little catch, I thought. And then, like I said, Robin and Sandy come in, and Marshall and Ted have a telepathic conversation. The first of many throughout this show, the whole series. This is a thing that comes back multiple times throughout the series, and multiple times throughout this episode. They have this little conversation about Sandy, how much he hates the guy now. And then we finally, 7 minutes into the episode, hear future Ted. He did not open the episode like normal.
True statement.
You had not heard him anywhere. As it's going, I was like, because I thought to myself, I was like, is future Ted not like nowhere in this episode? But he is. He's like, he talks a couple of times. But 7 minutes in, like a third of the way through the episode before we even get future Ted talking about anything, which is weird. Which was weird to me, like because he didn't start the story.
Yeah.
I don't know. It threw me off a little bit. But apparently, so he tells this story. Apparently, he and Marshall used to play a game while watching Sandy Rivers on his show, where he just like reads the newspaper out loud, and they would put decorations on his on his face, like tape it to the screen. I'm calling them decorations.
I was setting you up.
Ted mentions a couple of them. He says French Sandy and porn star Sandy. But Marshall has a different one in mind. Which one is that, John?
Yosemite Sam.
There it is, little Yosemite Sandy. All right. For those of you,
the thing that confuses me.
Hold on. For those of you listening, I am showing a picture of Yosemite Sandy. If it's been a while since you've watched the episode, I highly recommend you going back and rewatching it and seeing or you could just Google Yosemite Sandy and it pops up, because that's how I found this image here. Anyways,
the thing that confuses me is like, that must mean that when he's doing the segment, he doesn't move or anything, because otherwise those decorations are pointless.
Yeah, I think that is the case. I think he sits in his one spot. He's almost like a fucking robot, dude. He just sits there
he
reads the paper. He just that's what he does. Must be nice to get paid a shit ton of money to just read the paper on TV. I could do that. I could definitely do that.
You could do that.
Yeah. But I love the Yosemite Sandy one. I thought it was hilarious. I would have liked to have seen what the other ones were. I'm assuming that porn star Sandy's probably just like a mustache.
Probably.
But I've got, part of me hopes that there's more to it. I don't know what that would be. But something. Maybe like a big dick just kind of coming toward his face. I don't know. It would be hilarious. Then we flash back to the bar. Lily heads over to the table. We finally get to see that she is actually there, even though she was there most of that time. And she's introduced to Mary by a very nervous Marshall. He's very nervous. Then Robin and Sandy come over, and things that are just, we talked about how things got weird and awkward, and this is really where it starts. It's real tense here. Ted, gets up out of his thing and introduces Mary as his date. He officially confirms that she is his date because he saw her with Sandy, and he can't let that be. You know what I mean?
A jealous catty bitch.
Yeah, he is. They both are. They
both are.
Yeah. So next we head to the banquet. And the announcer brings out the host for the evening. It's king of the Saturday afternoon kung fu movies, Vampire Lou.
Vampire Lou!
Which I think is hilarious. I looked this guy up too. Apparently, he's in 2 other episodes of the show.
Really?
Yeah, he comes back in the season finale of season 1 as the weatherman.
Oh, okay.
And then he pops up as Lou, not as Vampire Lou, but as Lou in the season 2 episode Monday Night Football.
Oh my God!
The Super Bowl episode.
Yeah, because they reference him though as former Vampire Lou. Yeah. But something had happened, and like the vampire thing wasn't scary.
Yeah. So apparently he became a weatherman not long after. Yeah. So I thought that was. I was like, is this the only time we see him? Because I'm like, I don't ever remember seeing Vampire Lou again, which we obviously don't. But yeah, he apparently pops up a couple more times, which I thought was great. I'm excited to see him in the finale when it comes around.
Fair enough.
Which is only 3 episodes away, John. After this,
true statement.
We're so close to the end of this season, guys. It's getting there. So at the table, the guys are talking as Lily and Mary are apparently in the bathroom. Marshall really nervous because, as he says, secrets come out in there.
They do.
I mean, I'll be honest. Guys don't typically like chat in the bathroom. For the most part. It's just not really a thing. Any ladies out there, let me know. Do all the secrets come out? I'd like to know. That's what you always hear. That's like the stereotype.
That is very true. Girls are very catty.
Is
catty?
Catty. Yeah, chatty. Is the bathroom the place where all the tea is spilled, as the kids say these days?
Dishing tea. Ooh.
Oh, the kids like to say new things. Am I hip, guys? Am I hip? No? Okay. I didn't think so. Anywho, they then return to the table. Lily says that she used Mary's lipstick. And yes. Marshall, looking disgusted, just like wipes his mouth off with the napkin, which I thought was really funny. It's because like he doesn't have any lines. It's just him as they're talking, doing this motion.
And it's a great sell by him.
It was so funny. Jason Segel is fucking hilarious. Like, I remember it was the wedding episode. It was Drumroll Please, at the very beginning. Remember we talked about how he was eating cake?
Yeah.
But he's like getting fucking into it, man. He's like, he's just like making love to this cake. And he's just in the fucking background. And that's what I love, is that kind of stuff. He is so good at stuff like that. I love it. I just love it. Lily then gets oddly angry about Vampire Lou being part of the Saturday afternoon Kung Fu movie block. And there are people like, what is going on with you? And she reveals she's just tired. And when she gets cranky, or when she gets tired, she gets cranky. And then, as we talked about before, she gives that same attitude to Sandy Rivers, which I thought was hilarious.
I think it's hilarious because he's like, you getting cranky? I can't picture that. And she's like, oh,
I can't picture you getting cranky. Yeah, I thought that was great. You just went off on that.
I'm like, first off, this is your first time meeting her. You can't picture her cranky? Like,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Who the fuck are you?
Yeah. Because he says it real, like, kind of misogynistically, just like kind of like looking down on her, like kind of being that guy who's because she's this petite little girl. Oh, I can't see you getting cranky. That's kind of the tone that he's putting off when he says this.
Pretty much.
And I'm like, and that's his character. Like that's kind of who he is throughout the whole show.
That is true.
Really. So it makes sense. He's like a less successful Barney.
Huh.
I mean, really.
You're not wrong.
He wishes he could be like Barney. That's what it really would be. That's what it comes down to. So she's talking about how she's exhausted, and Barney tells her that she should quit her job and just go like work for a private school. To which she says, she's not in it for the money. But I got the distinct feeling that this is kind of where, like, this is that first hint of what is to come in the finale, with her not being happy with her life and wanting change.
Yeah.
I feel like this is that like first hint of that. Because she's essentially talking about how she doesn't really like her job anymore. They took my nap time away from me, and now I'm cranky all the time because I'm tired. And I don't like this.
I think it's that with the sprinkling of being able to get away with the line that they close this with. Because she's like, I'm not going to be like you and Marshall and do this shit. Because if I was to do that, what would that make me? Yeah. And Mary's like, a prostitute? And Ted's like,
yeah, and so she eventually wants to be a bit more free and follow her passions. So like I said, I think this is like, they're not hammering you with it. It's just a little hint. It's just like they're like sprinkling it in there so that when you go back, you're like, oh shit, okay, I see where this started.
Because as it is, just that one little moment, you'd be like, oh, she's cranky. You wouldn't think 2 minutes about it.
No, yeah.
Knowing where the season finale goes, you're like, oh shit, she really was unhappy. Like, fuck. Okay.
Yeah, very true. All right, then Lily asks Mary, like, what do you do? And Barney just abruptly blurts out that she's a paralegal. Like, she's a paralegal. Like he's covering for it. We all know what happens in the end.
Yeah.
We all know that this was just a ploy. He did that on purpose to make it seem like what he's telling you is true. But yeah, so and Mary's just like, yeah, I'm a paralegal. And she kind of explains real vaguely like what a paralegal does.
Yeah, like a bare minimum.
And I think that's just because she knows that most people aren't going to understand a lot of what she does, though True. Marshall would, but I don't think she knows that he's a lawyer. You know what I mean? But yeah, most people wouldn't understand probably. So she just probably dumbs it down for most people. And then she says that she works at the law firm Douglas, O'Halloran, and Stamp, which Marshall's like, that's a real law firm. Nice. And I discovered something pretty awesome about this reference right here, John.
Okay.
And you are going to love it. So I'm gonna stick this out here for you, John. Do you recognize these two names? Sarah Douglas, Jack O'Halloran. Do you recognize either of those names?
Yeah. Sarah Douglas is an actress.
Do you know why? Like what she's been in?
Aren't they on JAG?
I don't know about that, but it's something that you. Let me tell you. I'll say the third name. I'll say the third name, and they're all in the same thing together.
Okay.
Terrence Stamp. These three actors are the actors who play Ursa, Non, and Zod in Superman 2.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And so this law firm uses their last names.
That is badass.
Right? I thought you'd like that. I saw that on the wiki because I didn't think about it when they said it. I saw it on the wiki. They pointed it out, and I'm like, holy shit, that's awesome.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
It's
Douglas,
the fucking...
yeah. It's the Kryptonians, baby. Yeah.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah, I thought you would really, really appreciate.
I can't believe I knew I recognized the name Jack O'Halloran, and that's Non.
Yeah,
that makes more sense.
Yep, and Sarah Douglas is Ursa, and obviously we know who Terrence Stamp is.
Well, now see, if I would have known Terrence Stamp, I probably would have gotten that a little quicker.
Yeah, so I thought that was it was a great little tidbit and something I knew that you would appreciate.
That's a really funny throw out though, because I wonder who on the show is the huge Superman fan then.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's a very specific. It's a very specific reference.
Yeah,
you know
because,
what I mean?
Well, then later on in the season or series, we get the whole Fortress of Barnitude / the whole floating Jor-El head.
Yes.
So I mean, somebody is really a Superman fan.
Yeah, somebody really is. Part of me is almost surprised it wasn't like Star Wars related instead, but they went Superman, which I think is really cool because it's something that most people like. If you're like, Hamill, Fisher, and Lucas, or Hamill, Fisher, Ford, something.
Yeah,
people would notice that, and they would catch that right away. But so they tucked something in there that most people not even gonna think twice about.
They got it past a true Superman fan. So
yeah,
I mean,
they wanted it in there probably just for themselves, and they got it, which I thought was
wow.
I thought that was great. Yeah, so this is what we're here for, folks. Little tidbits of information that make you say, "Wow." That's what we're here for.
Wow.
Wow. So Mary and Ted, they have some real nice flirty banter going on with one another here.
They do.
Robin kind of gets a bit shitty toward Ted here. And then Ted directs his shittiness back towards Sandy, which I find interesting. Because he doesn't take it out on Robin because he knows that he fucked up. So he's not mad at Robin in general. He understands that she's being kind of shitty toward him, but he's taking that out on Sandy, which I find interesting. Sandy doesn't even understand what's going on. It's just whoosh right over that chrome dome of a head of his. And then Mary makes this awesome Star Wars reference, and Ted loves it. He fucking loves it. And I gotta say, man, I think Mary and Ted would have made a really good couple.
Probably.
If everything hadn't the way it all goes down. I think like they get along so well. So they have such good chemistry. Dude, she is fucking into him like from the get-go.
Oh yeah.
Like super into him. Like throughout, even like at the bar when they first met, when Robin comes in, like he introduces her. She like puts her hand on him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah. And she does it a few other times throughout. Like, she's super into him throughout the whole thing. And
too bad he fucked it up.
Oh man, he did too. And like, I mean, I know we're jumping ahead a bit, but like, he could have saved it if he hadn't kept pushing.
Oh yeah.
If he had believed her, I think she, instead of continuing to push that she's a hooker, I think she could have like moved past it, because then he could have explained that Barney told him that she was and all this other shit, and that she probably then would have just been mad at Barney instead of at him.
I don't know why he doesn't lead off with that though when it gets to that point.
Yeah, what he should, he's like, you're a hooker. Again, we're jumping ahead, but you're a hooker. She's like, no, I'm a paralegal. He should have been like, Barney told me that you're a hooker, so you don't have to lie about it. And then she would have been like, well, Barney's wrong. He lied to you. And then I think something could have been good there, man.
He could have salvaged it from that.
Yeah, he really could have. Fucking Ted, man. Fucking Ted. He's
not
always
a good closer, man. We go back to this.
Dude,
all
he's
the time.
so not. It's ridiculous, but yeah. So then we head up to the bar at the banquet. And this is that scene that we were talking about a little bit earlier where Ted and Robin are talking. She's She's just being a real asshole to him.
Yeah, dude, she's being so shitty to him.
Oh, so shitty. And Ted is just done. He's like, I'm sick of trying. I'm done. Yep. And he walks away, which I don't blame him, man. Like, he understands that he fucked up, but she's being unrelenting about this.
Yeah, dude, she's being a bitch. Like,
because she doesn't want, like I said before, she doesn't want to admit that she's also at fault. So she's just aiming all of her anger at Ted and herself, just straight at Ted. She's all of it, boom, right to Ted.
Yep.
And she later on, she sees that she's been kind of shitty, and you kind of see her change real quickly at the end there, which is, I'm like, it was kind of like, okay, like that was real sudden, lady. But anyways, we'll get there. I'm jumping ahead too much here. And then Mary and Ted start talking about the hotel, and Ted says that one of his friends, did the remodel for the hotel, and she suggests that it's a little too bad that they don't have a room.
Barney's like,
Yep. He's like, slides it over. He's just like, go nuts, kids.
And he's like, oh wait,
not to him.
Not the minibar.
Not the minibar, which I thought was something. But I mean, we find out later on Ted somehow got into it anyways. Unless he's just ordering it like room service, maybe.
He probably just ordered a bottle of champagne via room service.
He might be just ordering rooms. Dude, that would be awesome just to be like, hey, I got this room. I'm going to fucking spite order some shit.
Oh, dude, I would totally do that to somebody's ass.
But like, you see this lobster, I'd take a picture of it, and then I'd like take a picture of it like in the toilet. Send it to Barney.
See, you're like in the toilet. I'm like, you would literally be in the trash. I'd be like taking a picture of it and be like, ordered this great lobster. And then all of a sudden I'd like, it'd be in the trash. I'd be like, but I fucking hate lobster.
Fuck your lobster, Barney.
Oh, man.
So then we cut to the banquet bar again. Ted and Barney are talking. Barney's trying to convince him to sleep with Mary. And Marshall winds up coming up at one point. And Barney pulls out another statistic, which I had mentioned earlier, saying that men who have slept with a prostitute at least once are 75% more likely to have success in future relationships. Again, man, he could have that number could have been 83 and it would have made me so happy.
Oh,
I would have been like,
Marshall lawyers him again at this point.
He made that statistic up. He lawyers him like 3 or 4 times throughout this episode. Like they just hammered into it. They brought it in and they just kept using it the whole time.
Because I was like, you just made that up. Withdrawn, lawyered.
Yeah, withdrawn. Yeah. And so, like I said, Marshall there, he tells Ted, you can't do this, man. But, Ted's he's going to do what he's going to do. He also revealed that he's been putting small things in Sandy's hair all night.
Yes.
Which is awesome. And Sandy doesn't even know. So then they head back to the table as the winner of the award is being announced. And, of course, it's Robin. Otherwise, I feel like what would be the point of them setting it at this for this episode if she wasn't going to wind up winning? And she gives her speech. And she, like a real dick move here, leaves Ted out when she's listing her friends. Purposefully just leaves Ted off the list.
Even Mary looks like really hurt by this.
Yeah. It's
she's like, oh shit.
Yeah. It's the most awkward fucking thing. It's like, what did she think? What did Robin think was going to happen here?
Right?
Like, she's trying to make Ted jealous by, bringing Sandy there. And yes, Ted is mad. And she's mad. Okay. But that was fucked up. Like, I don't know how Ted, forgives her so easily. I just don't.
Because he loves her.
Still, man, that I feel like that was crossing the line for me.
I mean, it definitely hits in a different way, and especially because she really is shitty about this.
Yeah,
she's like, I'd like to thank all my friends, Marshall, Lily, and
Marshall, Lily, Sandy. Yeah. She hesitates and she's like Barney because she doesn't know if she wants to say Barney, and that's all my friends.
And that's all my friends.
Yeah, and that's it.
It would have been funnier if she'd have taken it a step further and thanked Mary and then didn't thank Ted.
Oh, that would have been messed up, man. That would have been real
Mary,
messed up.
Yeah,
that would have been so messed up if she had done that. So then Robin comes back to the table, asks Sandy if he wants to grab a cab, and then Ted asks Mary if she wants to go up to the room.
Hell yeah, let's take it upstairs, baby!
Yeah, man. Mary is so into Ted. She is just right off the bat, first date, willing to fuck Ted. Just boom. Yeah. She's good to go.
Now let me ask you: you ever had a first date onion sex?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Good boy.
Oh yeah. More than once. We'll just leave it at that.
That's my boy.
So then Ted and Marshall have another telepathic conversation about this whole thing. Ted and Mary then get up and they head upstairs. Robin and Sandy leave. And as Sandy turns around, we see a bunch of shit in the back of his hair.
Oh, yeah.
There's like little cocktail umbrellas and I don't even know what else. But there's all kinds of weird little shit.
Fruit in there.
Marshall just having a good old time, just sticking shit in his hair, which I think is hilarious.
I mean, Lily laughed and Barney laughed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, okay. At this point, Lily is wide awake.
Yep.
Okay? Keep that in your mind, everybody. At this point, Robin and Sandy leave. Ted and Mary leave. Lily is wide awake. Okay.
Wide awake.
So we're in the elevator now, and they're heading up. Ted and Mary are heading up to their room. Ted asks Mary if she and Barney ever hooked up, and she's like, "There's not enough money in the world." And this whole comment just strengthens Ted's belief that she's a prostitute. Yep. It's just an innocuous comment that she would say. You know,
I mean, a lot of people would say it like that.
Oh,
too.
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Not even like you could I could understand where the common confusion would come in, especially in the pretense. But
him thinking that she's a prostitute already, it's like that just nails it more home for him. This scene is real short, but then we head back to the table, and Robin is coming back in, and she's alone. And she says that she sent Sandy home in the cab, admitting that she was only trying to make Ted jealous.
Yeah,
and they, she asks. Well, she knows that Ted and Mary went up, and she says, good for Ted. She if Ted likes her, she must be good. She must be nice. And right here, she realizes that all this stuff that she's been doing, it's not working. It's not making Ted jealous. It's not, really, she's hurting herself.
She's hurting herself, man. Yeah.
And that's everything that she's been doing is just backfiring on her. Okay, so Ted and Mary are still in the elevator, okay? Because after this scene, I'm just going to jump real quick. We do eventually go back to them getting off of the elevator. Obviously, it doesn't take that long to go outside and get a cab, okay? So it has not been that long since everybody got up from the table and left.
No.
Lily is asleep on Marshall's shoulder.
Asleep.
I'm just like, I understand that she's like exhausted, but damn, she was out as soon as they walked away.
Yeah,
I was like, holy shit, man!
Like, oh, nothing's good's going on.
Yeah. Oh, everybody's gone. Okay, I'm just gonna put my head down. I'm out. Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. Then, as she's sleeping on his shoulder, Marshall tries to have a telepathic conversation with her because he needs to get this secret off his chest. It's weighing him down, and he needs to tell somebody. So why not tell a sleeping Lily? And he tells her in his mind that Mary is not a paralegal. She is, in fact, a prostitute. And Lily just, snaps awake, and she's like, Mary's a prostitute? And just, blurts it right out. Which I thought was, oh, man. That was
it's a great reaction.
It was.
Overall.
Yeah. And then we get a line from Robin here, which I think is just her still being kind of shitty, even though she had just had that whole kind of that clarity moment of everything she's doing is she shouldn't be, where she's like, what is Ted having some sort of mental breakdown? It's like, maybe he fucking is, he's fucking in love with you and shit got fucked up. And now, as far as he knows, you guys aren't even friends anymore. Like, he's lost this person in his life, as far as he knows, that was extremely important to him.
Well, I mean, take it even a step further. It's not even that he's in love with one person. He was in love with two people.
Yeah, that's
true. And he
true.
lost both of them.
Yeah.
One of them being one of his closest friends at that point.
Yeah, that's very true. And so it's just, it's her, that statement from her bothered me a little bit more than everything else that she had been doing, because she had just, like, literally seconds ago had this clarity moment that everything, that her being shitty isn't working.
Yeah.
You know, and she just defaulted right back to that with him.
No, you're 100% correct.
You know, and I was like, fuck you, Robin. Like, I said that out loud to myself as I was watching this.
Dude, she flip-flops so much until the end of the season.
Yeah. So then Barney gets up and he's like, now it's time for the big twist ending. He gets Vampire Lou to open up this envelope, pulls out a card, and it says, Mary is not a prostitute. And everyone's like, wait, what? So he reveals that Mary is, in fact, just a paralegal that lives in his building. And he's fucking around with Ted.
Yeah, but Ted doesn't know that.
He does not know.
He's like, I never told Ted. Ha ha.
Yeah.
And what I think is funny is he starts laughing.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, and he's like, come on, guys. If you don't laugh, it makes it seem like it's mean.
Yeah.
Of course it's fucking mean, dude.
Yeah. And that's that, you know, what I was saying before. He is being mean. And he's just trying to make himself feel better about it.
Well, like you said, it really is. I want to doubt if this is around the time where, like, he starts developing the Robin feelings more. And, like, he's like, well, if Ted's going to keep fucking off on her and hurting her, I'll take my chances. Oh, but wait, I can't say anything because of, like, bro code shit.
Yeah.
Like, because this is early in the show still. Like, they don't hook up until, like, season 4?
Yeah.
No.
No. I think it's before
5.
that. Is it that late? Okay.
Yeah, because season 1, they end with her and Ted.
Yeah.
So then they try dating season 2. Season 3, she comes back and is dating Gael.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think her and Barney get together until 4 or 5.
Okay. But, yeah, I mean, like I said, I think this is just where it starts. Because, like, you see that he at least has that sexual attraction to her.
Yes.
You know, and I think that he wants something to happen. I'm not saying that he wants to date her at this point. He wants something to happen. And
he wants to sleep with the chick from Metro News 1.
That's right. And seeing Ted kind of fucking up these chances over and over again, I think it bothers him. You know, and I think he's taking it out on him. I really do. I mean, it's a lot of subtext, but hey, what fun is it talking about a show like this if we're not going to dive into a little subtext?
Oh, yeah. Subtext can get slippery.
Yeah, absolutely. Slippery when wet. Anyways, Ted and Mary get off the elevator. Ted says he's never done this before. She's like, what? He's like, been on a date. And for him, quote unquote, been on a date, it means, sleeping with a prostitute.
Oh, yeah.
But Mary is literally taking it as been on a date, you know, like an actual date. And then she says some things like about her clients. Her clients have been riding her all day. Talk about anal at one point.
Talk about anal.
And obviously, it's all things that, like, in regular conversation, you wouldn't think twice about her saying that. But with Ted having the thought in his mind that she's a prostitute, it just completely sounds the other way.
So messed up.
Yeah, it just completely goes the other way for him. And so they get to the room. They're about to go in. He gets cold feet. He says, he can't do this. You're a hooker. She's like, no, I'm not. I'm a paralegal. And he just keeps going at her. No, you're a hooker. And it's like, wow, Ted, way to be fucking condescending.
I know, right?
Like, fuck you, man. Like, at this point, like, yeah, I'm glad that she winds up slapping. They don't show her slapping him, but he says that he got slapped later on. I'm like, he deserves it after, and then he says it a third time. It's like, after the second time, if he had believed her, there might have been a chance. You know what I mean?
The worst part about the whole situation is, though, Mary's such a sweet girl, and after this episode, you never see Mary again.
You never see her again. And why is that, John?
Because she probably fucking killed herself. You know, you could make an entire series about how Ted hurts people and drives them away so much that they probably fucking kill themselves.
Ted and Robin.
Oh, God, actually. Yeah.
Because, like, Robin, like we talked about it before, like Robin's friends, that just, after, because like they show up twice, and after that second time, they are never seen again, we've talked about.
You know what? I have half the mind to start a website, and I would call it something like Ted Mosby is a jerk.com.
Love it. Great future reference. And so we go back to MacLaren's, everything has happened. Barney's laughing because, and Ted is pissed about, everything that happened. Barney thinks it's hilarious. And Barney says he did this to prove a point.
Yeah, and Ted's like, what's the point?
To which he has no actual point and has to make it up. And he has to make it up on the spot. And this is why I truly believe that he was doing it out of like some sort of spite. Yeah, because he didn't actually have a point.
No. And it wasn't until the end of the episode that I'm like, man, he really didn't have a point to that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Like, I thought he had a reason for it, but he doesn't.
No, he does not. He says that his point was that to show Ted, essentially he says that he needed to show Ted to have confidence so that he could get over this slump that he's in.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you could have done this other ways, guy. You could have done
so many other ways.
Ted says, he's got to get back to his room. And they're like, Barney and Marshall are like, what are you talking about? Apparently, he never checked out of that hotel.
Never checked out.
And he's just been staying there, probably ordering all kinds of room service. Even talked about dumping Dom Perignon down the bathtub drain.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what, man? That Barney deserves that shit.
Oh, yeah. And then Marshall starts laughing.
Yeah.
And Barney looks at him and he's like, man, if you don't laugh about it, it just seems kind of mean.
Absolutely. And that's how the episode ends. I think we got 2 instances of future Ted in this whole episode.
Yeah.
That was it. And it was so weird. It felt a little different.
Did it feel naughty?
It did feel naughty. So naughty. Part of me, like the way I kind of almost took it is that future Ted is like telling a real cliff noted version to his kids. Cause it's about he's talking about prostitutes all the time throughout this episode. And so maybe he's not telling his kids everything that we see.
Maybe. And I thought about that. Maybe he kind of like bridges over where it's just like, there's one time I went on this date with this girl and it was to this thing for Aunt Robin. And then Aunt Robin still hated me. And
yeah, I'd be honest. It would make sense. Whether that's the reason, I don't know, but it would make sense to me. So that is the episode. That is season 1, episode 19, Mary the Paralegal. John, what are your overall thoughts about this episode?
Oh, are you not going to do the other thing?
What other thing?
Barney's blog?
Oh, we always do this first, though. You know that.
Oh, I don't know. For some reason, I thought it was before this. You know what, though? Great fucking episode, though. Like I said, I forgot how great this episode was. And like you said, Mary and Ted have great chemistry. And I think it could have been something not long term, but I think it could have been something substantial for Ted.
Yeah, I think
so. Circumstances been different.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, because she was a catch, man.
Dude, she was definitely like, maybe not the whole package, but she was about there.
I mean, she's smoking hot. She had a really good, like fun, quirky personality. She likes things like Star Wars.
She likes Star Wars.
So, like, I mean, who knows what other types of baggage she might have had, but that's a solid start right there.
That's a really good start.
And she was ready to go on the first day.
She was definitely ready to go.
I'm just saying, if anything, if Ted had just shut his mouth, he could have at least had a fun night. But he did not shut his mouth. But yes, as John previously said, it is that time. It is time for Barney's blog. Suit up, bitches. I tell you, one of these times I am going to make a, maybe for season 2, I will make an actual soundbite where I just play it. Boom, a little bit of music in the background. Suit up, bitches. Legendary. You have like a bunch of like little Barney sound clips. It'll be pretty awesome. Anyways, so as we've talked about over the last couple of episodes, this one also does not have a blog post attached to it.
Oh, shit.
They pick back up starting with the next episode, but this one is the third in a line that did not have its own. So I picked one out of the hat. We have this list of random ones that are not attached to episodes, and so I picked one out. And this one is titled Haiku Hiya. And yeah, and it was dated Tuesday, January 31st of 2006 at 3:33 p.m. And so Barney talks about the way into a woman's pants is through her heart. He says, but short of invasive surgery, how does one get into a woman's heart? Huh. And so he talks about the haiku. It's the Japanese poem. 575. That's how the syllables of each line go. For those of you who don't know what a haiku is, and there's a bunch of haikus that he wrote. So I'm gonna read these haikus. There's I think 5 of them. Yeah, and now remember, these are all from the mind of one Barney Stinson.
Fair enough.
So there we go. All right, the first one is titled "XX Chromosome" by Barney Stinson. Hot cutlet biscuit, foxy chick Bambi bunny, dirty flirty thang. Yeah, that's a haiku for you folks. The next one is titled Laser Tag. Light cuts through the smoke. Where is my foe now? Only his corn dog remains. The third one is titled Finer Wear.
Okay.
2-button pinstripe. Classic or legendary? Depends on necktie.
That's not a bad one.
It's not, I like how, like these things they're so themed to Barney's specific tastes.
Yeah.
The first one's about women, then laser tag, then suits. And the next 2 are other things. This one is called High Five. It says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Raise each one high in the air. Cut me some skin, bro.
I like it.
That's good, right? I think that one's really good. I like that one quite a bit. And then the last one is titled Wingman.
Okay.
Wingman, oh wingman, please save me from the fatties. It's your sworn duty.
It's a wingman. The only thing is fat girls need love too, man.
It's true.
They got to pay.
There it is. And so another little funny thing at the bottom, it's got this little disclaimer type of thing. It says all work on this page copyright 2006 by Barney Stinson. All rights reserved in perpetuity throughout the universe, says that. But then it says, where is it? It says, has all the copyright stuff. Barney Stinson's the copyright holder. Then at the end, it says, seriously, write your own goddamn poems. Which I thought was great.
That's awesome.
In other words, don't steal his shit. I think the high five one was my favorite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Raise each one high in the air. Cut me some skin, bro.
I like the necktie.
Yeah, you like the necktie one? The finer wear? 2-button pinstripe. Classic or legendary? Depends on necktie. Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one, John. So, yeah, there we are. That was Barney's blog. I hope you enjoyed a little haiku action for everybody out there. I hope that it made your day. Now go and write your own goddamn poems, as Barney said. John, where can they find you on the interwebs if they want to reach out? If they want to send you a haiku of their own.
Ooh, I mean, if you want to send me a haiku, pop onto Twitter if you tweet or twat, depending on what you say. go over here to
I don't think anybody says that they twat.
Raven says twatter, dude. Raven says twatter. Get over it.
Fair enough.
You can go on to Twitter and find me here. It's Simply Sane J1. Corresponds with my podcast, Simply Sane with Jay. It's the Not Your Mama's podcast. And now I have a blog. Don't forget to check out Jay's blog, which is also called Simply Sane with Jay. It's just a blog.
It is a blog.
It is a blog.
It's very bloggy.
It's very bloggy. I got to get some new stuff posted. I haven't posted in a couple weeks now.
Yeah, man.
I'm trying to get my head straight over some shit. People, it is okay to not be okay. Remember that.
True. That is very true.
But that's me. Josh, where can the fans find you?
You can find me on Twitter at JP Raynor. That's JPRAYNOR. As well as right down there at Movie Blog Merc. That is the Twitter page for my site, Merc with a Movie Blog. If you are watching this on video, that means you're watching it on the Merc with the Movie Blog YouTube channel. Be sure to hit the like button if you like what you see. Also, smash that subscribe button and hit that little bell so you always know when I drop a new video. If you are listening on audio, specifically over on Apple Podcasts, leave if you like this, leave a 5-star review, and we will read it out on air. We've done that several times. If you're listening on Anchor, or even if you just want to leave us a voice message, even if you're not listening specifically on Anchor, head over to anchor.fm/lastcallHIMYM, and you can leave us a voice message, which we have also played on air before. It's pretty cool. You can say some fun stuff as long as you don't get too fucking weird or some shit. I don't know. I listen to them before I play them, people. Just be aware of that. And make sure to follow us at Last Call at McLaren's on Twitter down here at Last Call HIMYM. As you can see, that's Last Call HIMYM. And that's I think that's all I got for him. John, what do you got for him?
Listen, peoples, you don't have to go home, but you can't listen here.
That's right. Catch you next time.
Mother.